Good morning. Today we will discuss on DNA replication. Before replication, cell divides and DNA strand unwind and separate. After that, each strand make a new pattern by adding the appropriate nucleotides. Next one is the result is that there are now two double stranded DNA molecules in the nucleus. So that when the cell divides, each nucleus contain identical DNA. This process is called as a replication. Modes of DNA replication are conservative, semi-conservative and dispersive. Semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. There is one experiment to understand the semi-conservative model of DNA replication. That is Michelson and Stahl cracked the puzzle. Matt Menzel and Franklin Stahl originally met in the summer of 1954, the year after Watson and Crick published their paper on the structure of DNA. Although the two researchers had different research interests, they become intrigued by the question of DNA replication and decided to team up and take a crack at determining the replication mechanism. Michelson and Stahl conducted their famous experiment on DNA replication using E. coli bacteria as a model system. They began by growing E. coli in medium or nutrient, both containing heavy isotope of nitrogen N15. When grown on medium containing heavy nitrogen 15, the bacteria took up the nitrogen and used it to synthesize new biological molecule including DNA. After many generations growing in the nitrogen 15 medium, the nitrogenous base of the bacterial DNA were labeled with heavy nitrogen 15. Then the bacteria were switched to medium containing a light nitrogen 14 isotope and allowed to grow for several generations. DNA made after the switch could have to be made up of nitrogen 14, as this would have been the only nitrogen available for DNA synthesis. Michelson and Stahl knew how often E. coli cells divide, so they were able to collect small samples in each generation and extract and purify the DNA. They then measured the density of the DNA using density gradient centrifugation. This method separates molecules such as DNA into bands by spinning them at high speeds in the presence of another molecule such as cesium chloride that forms a density gradient from the top to the bottom of the spinning tube. Density gradient centrifugation allows very small differences like those between nitrogen 15 and nitrogen 40 labeled DNA to be detected. A result of the experiment, when DNA from the first generation of E. coli was analyzed, produced the patterns of bands shown in the figure below. When did this result? Tell Michelson and Stahl. Let's walk through the first few generations which provide key information. Generation 0, DNA isolated from the cell at the start of the experiment. Generation 0 is just before the switch to nitrogen 14 medium. Produce a single band after configuration. This result made sense because the DNA should have contained only heavy nitrogen 50 at that time. Generation 1, DNA isolated after one generation, also produced a single band when centrifuged. However, this band was higher intermediate in density between the heavy nitrogen 15 DNA and the light nitrogen 14 DNA. The intermediate band told Michelson and Stahl that the DNA molecules made in the first round of replication was a hybrid of light and heavy DNA. This result fit with the dispersive and semi-conservative models, but not with the conservative model. The conservative model would have predicted two distinct bands in this generation. A band of the band for the heavy original molecule and a band for the light newly made molecule. Generation 2, information from the second generation let Michelson and Stahl determine which of the remaining models was actually correct. When second generation DNA was centrifuged, it produced two bands. One was in the same position as the intermediate band from the first generation, while the second was higher, appeared to be labeled only with nitrogen 14. This result told Michelson and Stahl that the DNA was being replicated semi-conservatively. The pattern of two distinct bands, one at the position of a hybrid molecule and one at the position of a light molecule, is just what we had expected the semi-conservative semi-conservative replication. In contrast, in dispersive replication, all the molecules should have bits of old and new DNA, making it impossible to get a purely light DNA molecule. Generation 3 and 4. In the semi-conservative model, each hybrid DNA molecule from the second generation will be expected to give rise to a hybrid molecule and a light molecule in the third generation, while each light DNA molecule will only yield more light molecules. Thus, over the third and fourth generation, we had expect the hybrid band to become progressively fainter because it will represent a smaller fraction of the total DNA, and the light band to become progressively stronger because it will represent a large fraction. As we can see in the figure, Michelson and Stahl saw just this pattern in their result, confirming a semi-conservative replication model. What is the conclusion? The experiment done by Michelson and Stahl demonstrated the DNA replication semi-conservatively, meaning that each strand in the DNA molecule serve as a template for the synthesis of a new complementary strand. Although Michelson and Stahl did their experiment in the bacterium E. coli, we know today that semi-conservative DNA replication is a universal mechanism shared by all organisms on planet Earth. Some of your cells are replicating their DNA semi-conservatively right now. So here we completed the DNA replication. Now we will look steps of DNA replication. First is initiation, second is elongation, and third one is termination. Tools required for initiation. Origin of replication. DNA replication does not start at random location but at particular site called as origin of DNA replication. A DNA whose replication starts from an origin and proceeds bidirectionally or unidirectionally to terminal site called a replicon, a unit of DNA replication. Prokaryotic replicons are usually circular in bacterial cells. The circular chromosome contains a unique origin and DNA replication proceeds bidirectionally from the origin to the terminus. Therefore, the whole bacterial genome is a single replicon. On the other hand, eukaryotic cells contain multiple replication origins on each chromosome and hence many replicons. Individual replicons in eukaryotic genome are relatively small and generally 40 to 100 kb in the size. The E. coli origin of replication is referred to as the ORIC region. It spans approximately 245 base pair of DNA. It contains two short repeat motifs, one of 9 nucleotide and other of 13 nucleotide. The 9 nucleotide repeat, 5 couples of which are dispersed throughout ORIC, is the binding site for a protein called DNA. The result of DNA binding is that the double helix opens up within the tandem array of 3 AT-rich 13 nucleotide repeats located at one end of the ORIC sequence. Common features of replication origins. Replication origins are unique DNA segments that contain multiple short repeated sequences. These short repeat units are recognized by multimeric origin binding proteins. These proteins play a key role in assembling DNA polymerases and other replication enzymes at the site where replication begins. Regions usually contain an AT-rich stage. This property facilitates unwinding of duplex DNA because less energy is required to melt AT base pairs than GC base pairs. Protein involved in the initiation of replication. It requires DNA protein initiate replication in E. coli at ORIC region. It binds to 9 mer sequence in E. coli ORIC, forming an initial complex. It starts initial strand separation or melting. This requires ATP and forms open complex. Next one is a DNAB called as helicase or rep protein. It is a hexamer of identical subunit. It clamps on lagging strand template in the open complex formed between DNA and ORIC and move along it 5' to 3' direction. DNAC called as helicase loader. It acts as helicase loader. Loading of helicase requires ATP and DNAC. Okay. Next one is single strand binding protein, molecular helix stabilizing protein. It inhibits reannealing of the subsequently separate strand by binding to each strand. DNAG or RNA primase or RNA polymerase primase. The primers used during DNA replication in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes are short RNA molecules whose synthesis is catalyzed by RNA primase. Our DNA polymerase can only elongate existing primer strand of DNA and RNA. After the bound primers synthesize short primer RNA is complementary to both strands of duplex DNA. They dissociate from the single-stranded template. Here we finish the proteins required for initiation. Next lecture we will see about tools required for elongation and related to all enzymes. Okay.